Hello, Storytime friends. It's been about a week, and the sun is shining. So I actually am not going to keep you super long today, but I wanted to say hi, and I want to share some fun stories with you. And it's that time of year for the fair. It starts tomorrow, and school started yesterday for big kids. And um, we're starting to harvest our gardens, which is super fun. Let's get some wiggles out. Today we're just going to be fun and silly. Let's wiggle, wiggle here and wiggle, wiggle there, right? Wiggle your hands up in the air. Can you do that? Wiggle your hands. And how about your shoulders? Can you wiggle your shoulders? Wiggle your hips? How about your knees? You can't see my knees, but can you wiggle your knees? How about your lips? How about wiggle, wiggle, wiggle some more? Now sit down and let's have some story time together. I was talking about gardens and harvesting our gardens, so I'm going to read some stories today about just that because it's that time of year to be outside and to see what our gardens have grown and how do we start out the garden? How do plants start their lives? I mean, they start as baby plants, right? But before that, what? Tiny little seeds, right? So, this book by Eric Carle is called The Tiny Seed. It's autumn. Oops, there we go. Can you see? It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? Do you see the tiny one? And where are they all going? One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up, up it goes. It flies too high, and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails with the other. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts, and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. See it? Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls in the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. You see it? One seed drifts down to the desert. It's hot and dry there, and seeds cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. See the tiny seed? Finally, the wind stops, and the seeds fall gently to the ground. A bird comes by and eats a seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. There it is. You see it? It is too small, so the bird does not see it. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they are going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse, you see the mouse? That also lives in the ground, eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed is very still, and the mouse does not see it. Do you guys see the tiny seed over there? There's a couple of little seeds in there, isn't there? Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, rain falls. The seeds grow so round and full, they start to burst open a little. Now they're not seeds anymore, they're plants. First, they send roots down to the earth, then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and air. There's another plant that grows so much faster than the new little plants. It is a big fat weed, and it takes all the sunlight and rain away from one of the small new plants, and that little plant dies. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry! but it finally too starts to grow into a plant. Warm weather also brings children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and springtime. One child doesn't see the plants and he runs along and he breaks one. And now it can't grow anymore. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud, and now a flower. But what is happening? First there are footsteps, then a shadow looms over them, and a hand reaches down and picks the flower. A boy has picked the flower to give to a friend. In the summer, the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. It doesn't stop. The sun shines on it. The rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It's taller than the trees. It's taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they've ever seen. It's a giant flower. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals and sways and bends from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower's seed pod opens. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away in the wind. That's pretty cool. That was like from seed to seed again, right? So what kind of things are growing in your garden? Or maybe you don't have a garden at your home, but maybe you have gardens near you or gardens of friends, or there's a garden here at the library. What kind of things grow in Alaska? You have some good ideas. This is called moose in the garden. Have you ever heard of a moose eating plants out of the garden? It's happened at my house. All right, moose in the garden. This is our garden. These are the seeds we put in the dirt of our garden. These are the seeds we put in the dirt of our garden, warmed by the sun. These are the seeds we put in the dirt of our garden, warmed by the sun and watered by the rain. What do they have? They have peas, tomatoes, carrots. These are the plants. These are the plants that grow in our garden. The plants grow and grow and grow. I'm getting a little reflection there, aren't we? This is a moose. Can you guys see the moose? This is a moose who walks through the wood. This is a moose who walks through the woods and comes to our garden. This is a moose who walks through the woods and comes to our garden looking for something to eat. Oh, this is a hungry moose eating up our garden. The moose eats and eats and eats. I think I would be very sad. Oh no, says my mother, who looks out the window. Oh, go, says my father, who looks out the door. The moose is eating the broccoli. Go, says my mother, who runs from the window. Oh no, says my father, who runs out the door. The moose is eating the cabbages and cauliflower. These are the plants that are left in our garden. These are the plants that are left in our garden that the moose does not want. And these are the vegetables that grew on the plants that were left in our garden that the moose does not want. Where are the cabbages? Where are the broccoli? Where's the cauliflower? Gone, gone, gone. Gone with the moose. Only the pictures are left. How sad, says my mother, leaning on her rake. Too bad, says my father, shaking his head. I'm glad, I say, singing to myself. I like carrots and peas, lettuce and beans, tomatoes and potatoes, and cucumbers too. But not cauliflower or big cabbage or broccoli. Not for me, Papa Moose, thank you. Next time you visit, zucchini, don't miss it. Eat up, take 20, there's plenty. That's pretty funny. That's the most hilarious. The little boy was happy because the moose ate the things he didn't like. That's hilarious, I think. Okay, so I'm thinking of something that grows in a garden, and the part we eat is underground. And then there's a part that grows up. Can you think of some things like that? Potatoes would be one. Radishes. What about something orange? Did anybody say carrots? Okay. They're some of my favorites. Did you know they look like this on top? Can you guys see the leaves? That's what a carrot looks like. And then the root is the part we eat, right? So I have a rhyme. Pick a carrot that was growing in the sun. Can you guys make a sun over your head? Then wash it and eat it. And pick another one. So today we did pick some carrots. Those came out of the garden here at the library, and they are so yummy. I want to read you a story about carrots. It's called Carrot Soup, and it's about this rabbit here. Let's see. It was spring, Rabbit's favorite season. Time to plan the garden, order the seeds, and look forward to enjoying his favorite food, carrot soup. Look at all those different kinds of carrots. Did you guys know that carrots come in all those shapes, sizes, and different colors? That's interesting. Rabbit plowed, and Rabbit planted, and he watered, and he weeded, and he waited, and he waited, and waited. Until finally, it was time to pick carrots. But something was terribly wrong at the carrot patch. Rabbit looked up, Rabbit looked down, Rabbit looked inside and out, over and under. Rabbit saw roots and rocks and dirt and mud, but what Rabbit did not see were carrots. There were no carrots. They were gone. Rabbit went to see Mole. Mole, have you seen my carrots? Rabbit asked. Someone has stolen my carrots. And Mole replied, Rabbit, you know I don't see very well. Why don't you ask Dog? Do you see Dog in the background? What's happening? Dog, have you seen them? Have you seen my carrots? Someone has taken all of my carrots. I don't care much for carrots, said Dog. Why don't you ask Cat? Can you see Cat? Cat, I was hoping to have some carrot soup tonight, but my carrots have disappeared, said Rabbit. Have you seen them? Carrots, asked the cat. Why would I be interested in your carrots? Perhaps Duck knows something about carrots. Do you guys see a duck? What's happening in this story? Rabbit asked Duck, "Have you seen my carrots?" "I prefer fish to carrots," said Duck. "Pig will eat anything, though. Maybe he has seen your carrots." Do you see a pig? How about carrots? But Pig was nowhere to be found. No carrot soup tonight, thought Rabbit sadly. Discouraged and disappointed, Rabbit went home. What do you guys see? All his friends? Surprise! I think it's carrot soup for dinner. What do you think? Well, what did you think of our stories today? I hope you liked them. I have a project I'd like to share with you. It's a carrot. Or we can make carrots like this. And like this. And these ones were made with paint. If you don't have paint, here's one that was made with crayons. That's kind of pretty. I'm going to make one myself. We'll see if I'm any good at it. Okay, first of all, I need two colors that would make orange. The colors I have are red and blue and yellow. What colors do I need to make orange? Did anybody say red and yellow? So I have a little yellow paint on my finger. And I'm going to just dot this around. Do you guys see that? I'm making myself a carrot shape. Does it sort of look like a carrot shape? And I like finger painting. It's pretty fun. And then, what did I say I needed to make it look a little yellow? Or a little orange, because I have yellow? A little red. So let's just dot some red around. I think I have a little too much red, but that's okay. And now we can mix. I think I have a red carrot. What do you think? You think I need a little more orange or a little more yellow for my orange? There we go. Now we're getting a little more orange, right? And then the plant on the top of the carrot was green, right? So if I get green on my other finger, then I could make some green for the top of my carrot, right? What do you guys think? That's a pretty fun thing. And then you get to paint with your fingers, which I think is always fun. And maybe it's time to start harvesting things in a garden you have at home or one that you have at a friend's house. You could ask first, though. Never take things from someone's garden without asking, right? All right, friends. I am so glad you joined me for story time today, and I hope to see you again soon. But right now, it is so sunny, I think we should all go outside and play. I'll see you next week. Bye.